Hello, I'm Hune and welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing the Hot Lap series with a tuned vehicle, a hot hatch or a pocket rocket, one of the most OP releases in the past, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of hot hatch history. It is the Gr Yaris. Personally, I absolutely love this car. Maybe because I'm a sucker for Toyota, but I just love the ingenuity, the design that went into this specific vehicle. The GR Corolla on its own is one amazing car, but it is primarily based on this vehicle, the Gr Yaris. Toyota went all out, and I cannot emphasize how rapid this thing is on the track, especially when it's tuned in game. It is absolutely rapid and probably one of the best looking cars personally.
Hune HR.
Welcome back, guys, and we started off at the Redbull Ring, and I just want you to pay attention to how this particular vehicle performs. It is tuned, and I don't want to race the car out, but I wanted the vehicle to look at least good, presentable, and give it that spice, because it's a GR Yaris, and a lot of people just say it's a Yaris, but this thing is rapid. And I've seen this specific vehicle in other videos, if we're talking drags, do like below 10 seconds. A GR Yaris doing 10 seconds. Quarter mile. Yeah. But yeah, the acceleration is out of this world. So the reason I tuned this one is I wanted to do a comparison between this vehicle that is tuned, and even then probably I would have done well if it was stock, which I can still record times for the stock vehicle, but for the purpose of this video I did not. But I ultimately wanted the GR Yaris to represent a vehicle that is ultimately known or could be called a supercar killer, something like the F8 Tributo, which has little to, or at least is a very aggressive car, highly powered. I can't say is necessarily purpose built for the track, but it ideally should be able to perform better than what this would. But as in supercar killer nature, you'd expect whatever vehicle that you give that name to be able to compete with those vehicles. Now, I've taken the GR Yaris on the Nürburgring against other players, and if you just look at how quickly it accelerates around certain bends and takes bends, even then, it is quick. It is quick, and with tune and power, it makes it even more faster through the straights, which ideally really helps the vehicle. so the GR Yaris at the Redbull Ring came in first with a time of 1 minute and 31 seconds, 0.89. F8 Tributo second, Honda Civic, which is not tuned, by the way, none of the cars below that are tuned, are all below that, and it technically obliterated the F8 Tributo, which has twice the amount of power. This in the game makes about 400 or so brake horsepower, right? And with a proper tune and settings, it is, like I said, rapid. There's really not much I can say besides that. It is quick, and it's not like you have infinite straights in the game where the F8 Tributo or any other car for that matter that makes more power would be able to just, you know, accelerate past it or pass it within however seconds. So that's the great part about testing these vehicles on the track. And now we are at Autodromo de Interlagos, a very, technically it's like a 50-50. It has a few straights and it has some not so challenging bends, but challenging bends. So yeah, I might have done this specific track a couple of times with the car, just, you know, to really make sure that I'm pushing it. And you just watch how it accelerates out of these bends. And the great part is when you feel like you're losing control of the vehicle, the Gr Yaris, because it's four-wheel drive, or at least four-wheel drive, you can kick it down a gear and try push yourself back into the I'm going to describe it as the racing line, and it really doesn't affect your time that much, you know. But by the way, Gran Turismo Polyphony nails their interiors. Their Tributor looked fantastic. This is as accurate as the real car in the Gr Yaris. So in this car I did a 1 minute and 35 seconds, which I can't complain. I think it was faster than the other times that I tried doing so, but at this point I just wanted to, you know, play around, because I finally got the lap done after trying so many times, because I had to really make sure that I was maximizing the cape, or at least pushing the car to its limits and not going overboard or even then messing up, you know, the entire hot lap. So obviously I don't do it on my first try. It's like you have to do like a few warm-up laps and then you go for the hot lap. So yeah, this car is fun to drive. Honestly, in game, I can only imagine how it is in real life. I would absolutely love to at some point, you know, but that's a story for another day. But the Gr Yaris with the four-wheel drive system and, you know, the three-way interchangeable drivetrain, I can go 50-50, and in the game obviously I can do a lot more adjustments than that, but for the sake of what is realistically possible, or what is there in reality, is that I would test it in 50-50 or 30-70 or 60-40. 60-40 sends 60% of the power to the front wheels and obviously 40 to the rear, which makes it more front wheel biased. And then here I believed I was going more 50-50, and then I turned down the traction control to absolutely 0, and you get away with just like this. And it looks, you ask yourself why and how this little thing is able to do that, but it's able to do that whether it's stock or not. It is able to do that. I've seen videos on social media of this very car doing that. Even then, the GR Corolla, I can only imagine, is capable of doing the same thing. So honestly, for what this vehicle is capable of doing, it's honestly insane. And obviously I love this whole thing of it being able to spin technically in one spot, or at least drift in one spot. So honestly at this point I was just having fun. I was just like, yeah, I finally got the lap done. I'm just gonna, you know, do whatever. And that's on like really sticky tires, and it's still able to do that. The Gr Yaris is it's one of a kind, and I mean, I guess that also goes for the GR Corolla. And by the way, the GR Corolla is pretty capable. This does 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds stock, and the GR Corolla does it in like 5.4. And if you watched, or at least if you search on the internet for a drag race of the GR Corolla against the Golf 8R. You'll be surprised how good this little engine is and this drivetrain is in what is the in obviously that drag race in the GR Corolla against that Golf 8R, or the other car that was there, which was Subaru. But the Gr Yaris did a 1 minute 35 seconds, 0.199, which is still faster than the F8 Tributor. And I think you should stay tuned for the upcoming video, which is also another hot lap in a different car, which is a significant vehicle. Hint maybe is that it's one vehicle that's owned by Shimi 150, one of my favorite UK YouTubers in terms of cars. So if you can take a wild guess, I guess, and leave it in the comment section. And by the way, if you do like these kind of videos, please do obviously hit the like button, leave a comment if you will, and subscribe. There's definitely more content coming, as I would really appreciate your subscription. I do acknowledge these subscribers that come my way, so I'm really grateful for the 50 subscribers that obviously I have right now, and everyone who obviously watches my videos. I'm really grateful. I do appreciate it. So right now we are at Goodwood, and honestly I said it from the beginning, I'm not that good at Goodwood, but part of this game is learning certain tracks, and I didn't do too bad. So as you can see on your right, it's the 50-50 drivetrain thing, which is distributing 50% of the power to the front and back. That's the track setting on the real car. That is the track setting on the real car. So even then on this track, the Gr Yaris was for some reason still faster. So I went down to this little spot that I found when I was just driving around the track, where I just decided I was gonna, have fun once again. I can't help myself. Whenever I drive the Gr Yaris, I'm constantly thinking of doing this, even if it's in online lobbies, which by the way, I will have a video on these very online lobbies I speak of. But yeah, don't judge my drifting, by the way. I'm only learning right now. So this car did not perform particularly too bad in terms of time on this track, but still faster than the F8 Tributor. But see, this is where power really shows itself, because the F8 Tributor makes double the power and the times are relatively close, with about a second. Also, being the Gr Yaris being ahead of the F8 Tributor a second and 0.300 of a second, So these are the settings that I have on the Gr Yaris, fully tuned. It makes 412 brake horsepower, and it weighs 1,000, which isn't stock, so it has like a stage 3 or stage 4 weight reduction tuning, or I can only assume you understand what I mean. So these are the settings. Not much I can say. You can copy them if you want, even improve them. I don't think it's the most dialed setup, but it works. It really works. So now we are at Dragontrail. I tried to not mess that up. I used to say Dragontail. It's Dragontrail International Speedway or Raceway. And this track also has a couple straights, and this clip I just included for the fun of it. Honestly, it reminded me of the one Gr Yaris at this race, and it absolutely got sent. It absolutely got sent. Yeah, but for some reason the driver was able to keep it on the ground, which was dope, and I was able to do the same, by the way. But yeah, onto the hot lap. By the way, just notice how quickly these hot laps are going by. Or maybe I'm just talking too much, and I've just not paid attention to the time, but they have gone by pretty quickly. But the Gr Yaris is it is one hot hatch. I'm not really a true supporter of the way Toyota decided, to sell these vehicles in limited numbers because of this whole homologation thing. But I finally nailed that corner, because I would have expected that they would sell something like this in a larger quantity, mass production. And by the way, I had set the time for this track, as you can see the ghost behind me. But yeah, regardless of that, I find it really disappointing, and they did the same thing with the GR Corolla. Even then made it worse, because they only sold it to the US markets, because then they didn't get the GR Yaris in their market. So it is a very tough conversation. And even then, if anyone wanted to import a GR Corolla to a country like South Africa, they drive on the left hand side, whereas we drive on the right hand side, right? So like the GR Yaris in this game, it's right hand side. I forgot the word. It's on the right, basically, right? So I found that to be really disappointing. But this GR Yaris, even in videos, you can see that this is a monster. I remember Chris Harris even saying that the GR Yaris would be so much quicker. I did a 1 minute 43 seconds. I remember Chris Harris saying that the GR Yaris on a rainy day would absolutely dust an M4, whereas you'd be quick in the straights, but through those bends, oh boy, you would have a tough time getting away from the GR Yaris, which is a bold statement, but even in simulation games like Gran Turismo, should you try it out, you actually see, like on the Nürburgring, that this thing, even in videos online, you see how quick this vehicle is. It's ridiculous that such was made so late, when EV was becoming a or at least EVs are becoming a thing that is forced onto the car community, for example. So it's not ideal that you get such great cars so late, whereas they soon to be rolled out, the combustion engine soon to be rolled out. It's far from ideal, really far from ideal. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you liked this video. Stay tuned for another video where I'm going to talk a lot the way I did in this, and that one's really fun as well, so stay tuned for that. I really loved making this video. It's the GR Yaris, one of my favorites. So thank you guys for watching. I'm out.